Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Bob and I are here today to chat about the Montero AR. We know a lot of you guys have been asking for this one, so our apologies that we made you wait, but
I think it's going to be worth it.
the wait is over. So Bob's got the AR over there. I've got the AX here, which we already talked about. Tremendous amount of similarities between them.
Yep.
In their build and shaping concept and even their feel.
Yep.
And then we've got the Stormrider 88 over there too, because I thought that added an interesting side to the conversation.
Yeah, and I think last time when we did the AX, we had
Everything.
all of the Stockli skis up on the wall, so we tried to pare it down a little bit.
Yeah, this is more of a focused conversation, you could say.
Yeah.
So, Bob, you got it over there. What do you want to start with? Do you want to tell us what's inside that thing?
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start. When you first pick it up, you kind of notice that it's got some heft to it.
Yeah, you can hear it.
You can hear it, you can feel it.
Do you think people downstairs are worried?
They're wondering what we're doing up here, I'm sure. But it's remarkable because they use lighter wood in the core. So it's a blend of paulownia and balsa wood in the core. And then we get 2 sheets of metal. So they definitely get that weight and the power from the metal. Even when I was just picking this up off the rack downstairs, our ski tech just kind of saw me doing it and he said, "What is in those things? I drilled one the other day and the drill didn't want to go in." And he said that even compared to something like this, that the drill goes in a lot easier. This Montero AR certainly gave him a little bit of feedback in that drill bit. So
that's cool.
It was interesting
I hadn't
to
heard
hear
that yet.
Yeah, he was like, what is going on in that?
And as somebody who's drilled holes in a good amount of skis over my lifetime, that feels really good.
Yeah.
When there's some substance to what you're drilling into. It is a very concerning experience when you're drilling into a ski and it's just like,
Right.
You're like, I don't know that I want to ski on that anymore.
Right. But yeah, it was great to hear that from, someone who drills, hundreds, thousands of skis per year. So definitely has some heft to it because of that metal. And then as we've talked about with a lot of the Stockli skis is the use of their rubber dust in any of those binding laminates.
Love the rubber dust.
Yeah, when they're putting these skis together, any of the adhesives going in there in the lamination process gets what I like to think of as like a sprinkling of rubber dust.
It is a sprinkling. We had that graphic. I'll try and dig it up for this. I might not be able to find it, but if I can, this is what the rubber dust looks like.
And we've talked about the use of rubber. A lot of companies will use it kind of in the tips and tails, some maybe underfoot, but having it kind of through the laminate, and especially when it's kind of incorporated into the adhesive laminates, I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of giving it kind of that quiet, stable feel to it. Really reduces the vibrations. Minimal chatter in either of these skis, any of these skis, but certainly rings true in the Montero AR. One of the big differences between this and the outgoing laser AR is the flex torsion control or torsion flex control. I knew I was going to...
Flex torsion control. I think you got it right the first time.
At any rate, what they're doing is they're basically taking a router and milling an S-shaped curve out of the top sheet of the metal in both the tip and the tail. This is the 180. And our good friend at Stockli said that it's roughly 17 centimeters down from the tip. So quite a ways into the forebody of the ski.
Totally.
Kind of separating this upper part of the shovel here and allowing it to, articulate and flex. So it really kind of adjusts the torsional stiffness of the ski. When we talk about it being a burly build and not really, easy to ski, it's no gimme. That kind of puts a little bit of the friendliness back into it.
Yeah, and in the tail too.
And then the tail too. So he said 9 centimeters from the tail towards the middle. So again, just that S-shaped cutout. And that differs from their turtle grip, which interlocks. So this is more of a floating removal of metal to make that application. And other than that, just this nice high quality top sheet, really strong metal finish to the tail. I mean, we talk about this a lot, just the quality of these skis. Any of these other upper end models when we have the Kessleys in here too. We're like, wow, that's just
Just
a
the finish
solid
quality.
Yeah, the finish quality is so high.
Yeah. A lot of attention to detail.
Yep, 100%.
You can tell that their quality control department probably like has a really important job.
Yeah.
I bet they kick a bunch of skis back if they're not just perfect.
Right.
Which is cool.
And they make everyone by hand.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. I can't remember the stat, but there's like an obscene amount of people that touch a pair of Stocklis through their production.
Yeah.
And if you add up all the production hours, it's like off the charts for how long it takes to build these things.
But you end up with a great ski. I really like this new updated graphic. You know, just a nice, clean, simple colors, and just looks great, feels great in your hand, and just that quality construction. So really nice overall product here.
Yeah, to jump ahead a little bit, I'm standing next to the ski that I like the most. But I think Bob and I can both agree that that blue on the AR just looks great.
Yep.
Not to take away from the teal, but if I had to pick my favorite graphic between these two, it's that one.
Yep.
It's harder to pair a binding over here.
Yeah, but you get the narrower waist so you can put that pivot 75 brake on.
No.
This one is a little questionable.
You're lost in no man's land for pivot application over there.
I know.
Anyways, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Tell us a little bit about how shape differs from the laser.
Yeah, not as much.
Yeah.
You know, I think that I don't want to say a misconception, but there's certainly different ideas floating around that, oh, this is not the laser or whatever, but like...
It's more laser than it is not laser.
Yeah, totally.
And I think we said that about this too.
Yeah, I mean, overall we're dealing with, you know, just millimeters of difference. So we bump up from 83 to 84 in the waist. It goes down from 130 to 128, I think, in the tip. I could be 1 millimeter off there. And then it actually goes up from 112 to 114 in the tail.
Yeah, and you spoke about that quite a bit in your written review. It's the different feel from the tail.
Yeah, I think that overall what you're getting is that easier entry into the turn with the slightly narrower tip.
I think there's a little more taper to the tip too.
Just a tad, I would say. You know, again, it's not like noticeable, and if we had a laser AR, we would have brought it up, but you guys bought them all, so
they're all gone.
They're all gone. We don't have that direct comparison, but it is a smoother feel, I would say, from tip to mid body. Yeah. And then I called it a modest kick in the right up, you know, in relation to the outgoing laser AR. So just a little bit more of that rebound coming out of the turn, and I think it complements how they incorporated that torsion control into the ski pretty well too. Yeah. So overall, more similarities than differences between the shaping. We didn't notice a whole lot of difference between the profile. You know, not a whole lot of rocker going on in this ski at all. When we put them together,
look at that camber height.
I mean, and it's tip to tail. I mean,
totally.
It's very much from end to end of that ski having that camber. There's not a whole lot of rocker going on anywhere at all. So, you know, despite of what people may have heard of changes to the rocker profile, I would say that would be minimal.
Negligible at best.
Yeah, I mean, really, really, this is, by all intents and purposes, a fully cambered ski.
Remember when Vocal had the reverse camber RTM?
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was wild.
This is like the opposite.
Right.
This is the correct thing
right.
to do. Not to throw shade at Vocal, but I think they would say the same thing. They've since
they went away from
pulled back from reverse cambered skis in this width. I like looking at that camber height. I think it gives it's a good visual.
Yep, for sure.
Now, I think that's the gist of it for shape and construction and all that stuff. I know that you've grown quite fond of these skis. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more of a carving ski or more of an all-mountain ski?
Carving. And I guess this would be a good time to talk about this in relation, and I guess that as well.
Sure. You think it's more similar to this than that over there?
I do.
Because we're even distance apart in waist width.
Right, so 80, 84, 88.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I can't imagine that's an accident on Stockli's part.
Nope, seems purposeful.
Right. So I think that these two, with that construction, with that profile, very similar. Obviously, that one's going to be easier to get up on edge, just a little bit more torsionally stiff and quick. But then you add the versatility of the width with this one here.
Yep.
You know, does it encroach on Stormrider 88? I think a little bit. I think just getting it a little bit closer in the width, you know, even though it's 1 millimeter underfoot, just the ability of this ski to pull you into a turn, I think distances from here, which is certainly more square in the all mountain category. You know, I think that pairing that with this makes more sense. You know, from here.
No, I don't think you'd own both of those.
No, from here you'd go right to 95 or 102.
And you mentioned that in your write-up.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember exactly what the scenario was, but you skipped right over the 88.
Right.
You were talking about snow depth, which is going to be a good segue. But before we use that segue, you were saying, like, if you're over 6 inches of fresh snow, you'd go to your Stormrider 95.
Yeah.
And I read that as I was reading it, and I was like, but there's a ski in the middle there.
Yeah.
So I think that was on purpose that you skipped right over that ski.
Right.
Now, the segue that I was going to use is we have footage of you skiing them on, what would you say, a 3-inch day?
I think so.
And it sure felt like they excelled in that scenario.
Yeah, I would say that 3-inch range is great.
Yeah.
I would say, 5 to 6, starting to get a little bit heavy and cambered.
Yep.
You would want a little bit more of a softer and lighter shovel.
Sure.
To help get that ski up and on plane.
And there is, we looked at it, there's a, 250 gram difference between a single Stormrider 88 and a single Montero AR?
Yeah,
So
it's quite a
pretty
significant difference. And so that does affect that powder performance. But you know, when we get our little 3-inch snowstorms here in Vermont, like that doesn't last long. It gets cut up pretty quick.
Right.
And that's when you want to go right back to that full effective edge on the ground.
Yeah.
Which I think is where this thing really kicks it into high gear, as opposed to even something like that, which might just end up being a little bit choppier or bouncier. I think
there's a noticeable difference in that scenario. Like, when I ski these, or when I'm going to ski these, I'm going to ski them on groomer days.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be a fun frontside groomer ski for me, where it does feel like there's more versatility for different snow conditions in that AR.
Yep. You know, and that said, I think we can segue then into more terrain.
Sure.
You know, and, you know, I love skiing bumps. I would say that this would be a more challenging ski in the moguls than some of the other more friendly skis we have. It's got that weight to it, you know, and it's got a pretty stiff flex.
Right.
The tail is quite stiff.
Right.
You know, we kind of look at these when they have bindings on them, and this mount point is very directional. You know, when you click into these and you look back, it's, I wouldn't say unnerving, but I would say a little bit different than what we're used to these days.
There's not much behind you.
Not much behind you.
Yeah.
So what that does in the bumps is it really stiffens that exit out of one turn and into the next. When you're on groomers, that's a good thing. You can really stand on it and feel it. If you're in bumps and trees and trying to make those quick subsequent turns, you know, this lack of taper combined with that stiff flex does make it a little bit challenging. So you do have to put your input into it to get it to do what you want in any type of quick turning
Not
situation.
to say that you can't do it.
No, not at all. Yeah.
It just is one of those things where it requires a certain level of technique and a certain kind of understanding of what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
I feel like when we talk about them, it might come across that they're more forgiving than they are. It's a real deal.
Right. It's 2,000
bunch
grams.
of metal in there,
Yeah.
2,000 grams, pretty stiff, squared off tail.
Yeah.
Like that's a real ski.
Right.
So I do still think they're easier to ski than some skis in this category. And there aren't that many skis in this category.
Right.
But say like Brahma 82, I would say that's a little easier to ski.
Yeah.
Slightly less punishing in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
In those off-piste scenarios.
But I definitely felt that, you know, when you get them up to speed and you get them on edge, if you go transition from softer snow to hard snow, boy, do they lock in.
Yeah.
They go.
Yeah.
So you do have to be prepared for that event, those high performance kind of, applications where the terrain changes or the conditions change. You do still have to be ready for that. It's not just a total supple ski that's going to, float along gently.
No, you need to be active and engaged,
Yeah.
or you should be.
Yeah.
If you want the best experience and the best response out of the ski, the most rewarding skiing experience, you should be skiing.
Right.
Not just along for the ride.
Yeah.
And we talk about other skis. There's plenty of skis out there where you can just like point them and just be like,
Yeah.
like just literally along for the ride. But these want to be skied,
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing.
Totally. Yeah, and you can stand right on them. They kind of have the same feel between, I said, 15 and 40 miles an hour.
Right.
They have that range.
Yes, and that's something that we found on this as well.
Yeah, your Brahma 82 example, I think.
That like speed.
Has got to be brought up to speed before you can really access the entirety of the performance.
Right.
So I think the range of this puts it in a different category.
Kind of reminds me of this is a weird comparison, but like an Armada Declivity 82.
Okay.
Like, pretty strong.
Yeah.
This ski's stronger, but like a similar vibe.
Similar sound to it as well. I think
Yeah.
that those declivities definitely have that kind of
Yeah.
more rubbery than plasticky.
Totally.
Doesn't have like a pinginess to
No,
it.
not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, different, like, not to speak poorly about Armada, but like the quality is different.
Yep.
You will notice a difference in holding those skis in your hand and also skiing them, but I think it's like a reasonable comparison.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a good one.
What's your favorite thing about them?
That's a great question, Jeff. I think that the sound.
Sure,
I
or
love
lack
the
thereof.
lack thereof. I love the silent nature of these
Yeah.
skis. You don't, and when that happens, when you get them up on edge and they don't feel like anything under your feet, that contributes to like that flotation nature. So I think that a lot of reasons why a lot of us ski, whether you're jumping in the park and through the air or floating through powder,
The weightless feel.
you want to have that weightless feeling. And
Yeah.
I think that the silence of these skis
Yeah.
provides a very similar feel to it.
No, that's an interesting take.
But you still get the forces. You get the G-forces.
Yeah.
You get the solidness and the stability. And for a 2,000 gram ski, it feels like there's nothing on your foot because you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
So I think that that's my favorite part.
Okay. What's your least favorite thing about them? We've never played this game before. This is fun.
If I was
The price tag?
if I was a purchasing skier, I would say the price tag.
That was
sure.
Yeah, that's where my mind was going.
Yeah, I mean,
$1,350.
Yep.
That's not cheap.
No, but like we're seeing, just like everything, we're seeing prices of everything creep up, and
Yeah.
like, we're seeing like Black Crow skis coming in at about $1,000. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're doubling the price of a premium ski with this AR.
No.
We're tacking on
No,
$300
you're
to
not.
$400.
Exactly, and I think that's something that gets lost sometimes
Yeah.
when thinking about Stockli in general.
Yeah.
Specifically the narrower skis, like the Lasers and the Monteros and stuff like that, is you got to compare them to like the highest end frontside ski from
Right.
another manufacturer, which like typically they come with bindings. There's a Firebird over there. There's a couple of them. So take a Firebird HRC.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was $1,299 total
It was like
price.
$1,100 last year. I
Something
don't
like
know
that.
what this year is. Yeah.
Anyways, it's not far off. Yes, it comes with a binding, but that still pretty much puts the ski at $1,000.
Right.
So it's not twice as much. It's just an incremental difference.
Right. And think like, we kind of like to equate it, be like, well, that's 3 dinners. Like, would you not?
Sure.
Would you not go out to eat 3 times?
With a couple.
Right.
Two
As a
people.
couple. It's 2
Yep.
people. You're paying for dinner.
Yep.
Would you not go out 3 times to buy this?
Yeah. Just skip 3 dinners
Yeah,
out,
That's it.
and you could have a Montero AR.
There's just a few little changes you can make in your lifestyle if you're hemming and hawing about the price.
I feel like we're getting real close to like millennials skipping avocado toast,
Right.
and then they can buy houses. But
Yeah.
no, I think there's some truth to that. There are ways that you can work it into your budget. There are ways that you can justify it.
Right.
And I think like the quality and the longevity of these skis is off the charts.
Right.
Like you don't need to like replace it next year or the following year or the following year. Like it should last you and should satisfy you for years and years to come, because Stockli quality is just really, really good.
Yep. No, 100%. It's a great product.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I don't mind paying more for a premium product if I'm going to use it.
We don't say this very often, but you're going to own a pair.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yep. My biggest conundrum is the bindings.
Yeah.
So.
And you're going to wait for the 185, correct?
I'm going to wait for the one. This is the 180.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait for the 185. And this was great, by the way. This is the length that I skied.
Yeah. And that's how I skied it too.
Yeah.
Which typically that happens a lot. Bob and I will ski the same length of something, and I'm like, this is perfect. And you're like, I want a longer one.
Good job bringing up the lengths, though. I forgot to talk about that. We can get that before we go.
Wasn't intentional, but
new lengths for these skis too. So they used to break every 7 centimeters, and now they break every 5. So
isn't that fun?
A 165 through a 185.
Yeah, just easier to pick your length.
So much easier. You know, they tightened the gap, made more of them.
Yep.
Great move by Stockli.
And if you're wondering why people don't do that, or why manufacturers don't do that more often, is it costs a lot more.
Yep.
They got to have one extra mold.
Yep.
And those things aren't cheap.
Right.
And then you got to have, like, when you're ordering your materials, like, you've got one more variable in all your materials. So there's a reason why manufacturers don't just make like 2 centimeter increments through all their skis. It would be great.
Yep.
Like, everyone would love it. You guys would love it. We would love it. But it just is unsustainable.
Yeah, same thing with the boots not making half-size shells.
Oh, that would be great.
You could really cram your foot in something.
I'm just thinking I'd be like an ideal, if there was something in between 24 and 25.
Right. 24.25.
That'd feel real nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe Stockli will start making some boots for you.
I don't anticipate that happening, but that'd be great. So that's it. I suppose we'll mention before we leave that I'm not letting those go anywhere outside of my vision.
Yeah.
Because these sort of belong to me now. But yeah, I'm really excited. And hopefully we get to have some just fun, casual ski days on Monteros.
Right.
We've done both reviews now, but maybe we'll do another just like on snow video of skiing them and chatting about them on the lift.
Yeah, I think any excuse that we could use to get on these.
No, I think it'd be really fun.
Better.
I think people would be, or I mean, let us know in the comments if you'd be interested in our binding choices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What boots we use with them. We could talk about all that stuff in an on snow video.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So that's it. Montero AR. If we didn't cover something that you were curious on, just leave a comment. We'll try and get back to you as soon as we can. Pretty busy this time of year, so if it takes us longer to reply to your comment, I'll just apologize in advance because we're trying to finish up our 2023 ski test. But leave the comment. We don't ignore those. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And yeah, anything you want to leave them with.
We have them for sale on the website too.
Yes, we have them.
We have them in stock. So
perhaps the most important thing from a business perspective.
Right. You could buy this pair right now.
Yes, please buy. No, buy the ski that's right for you. Don't just buy a Montero AR because they're cool.
Yeah, but they are cool.
They are cool. Yeah. So let us know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.